In the middle of the night, the sky was quiet, no stars moved. No comets passed. But deep under the earth, inside a secret lab, something strange was happening. Dr. Maria Lane sat alone at her desk. She was a space communication expert. She spent her life listening to signals from space. Most of the time, it was just noise, random beeps, static, or echoes from old satellites. But tonight, the sound was different. A small red light blinked on her screen. Beep. Beep, beep. Did she lean closer? A new signal had arrived. It was repeating a pattern: 3 dots, 2 lines, 1 long beep dot, then silence. Maria recorded it and ran the signal through the translator. It took almost 2 hours, but finally something appeared on the screen. 1 sentence. It was not in English, not in any known human language. But the computer slowly decoded it. Help us, our daughters are vanishing. Only humans can save them. Maria's eyes widened, her hand froze. She had seen many signals in her life, but never like this. She called her team. Within minutes, other scientists joined her in the lab. Dr. Kim, an expert in alien languages, whispered, "This is not a hoax. This is real." The message kept repeating, over and over. Help us, our daughters are vanishing. Only humans can save them. But there was no name, no coordinates. Just the signal. Hours later, more information came. The signal had a hidden code, something like an address. A location in deep space. 200 light-years away. The message came from a planet called LRN. Maria had read about Alaran before. The Alarans were a peaceful alien species. Very advanced, very private. They had never asked for help before. Never contacted humans directly. So why now, and why only humans? The government acted quickly. A meeting was called. A small group was selected to respond to the message. Not many people knew. This mission had to stay secret. The team included Dr. Maria Lane, signal specialist, Captain Ross, military leader, Dr. Kim, language expert, Dr. Elia Moore, child psychologist, 2 soldiers for protection. They trained for 1 week. Then they boarded a small spaceship built for deep travel. It was fast, using alien tech shared years ago during peace talks. The journey would take only 4 days. During the trip, the team read more about the Alarans. They were tall, thin, and had silver eyes. They spoke without words, using telepathy. They had no war, no crime. Their world was quiet, full of forests and blue oceans. Their children were few, but very special. Each child was born once every 100 years. The message made more sense. Now, if even one child disappeared, it was a big loss, but still, why were their girls vanishing? And what did humans have that Alarans didn't? Captain Ross kept asking the same question. What if this is a trap? Maria wasn't sure. I don't think so. If they wanted to attack, they wouldn't ask for help. Dr. Moore, the child expert, added, They're afraid. That much is clear from the message. They're desperate. On the 3rd day, something strange happened. The ship's computer picked up a second signal. It was weaker, almost like a whisper. Maria listened closely. It was a child's voice. A girl. She sounded scared. I can see the stars, but I can't go home. Please help. Then silence. The team stared at each other. The signal was real. The fear was real. Captain Ross said, Get ready. We land tomorrow. As the planet Alaran came into view, the crew looked out the window. It was beautiful. Bright green forests, floating rivers, giant trees with glowing leaves, but something felt wrong. No movement. No birds. No wind. The ship landed gently. No one came to greet them. Maria stepped out first, then they all heard it. Inside their minds, a soft voice, calm but sad. Welcome, humans. Thank you for coming. We are the Alarans, and we need your help. The team followed the voice into a large silver building. The walls shimmered like water. Inside, they met the Alarans for the first time. Tall beings with silver skin and kind eyes. They didn't speak, but everyone could hear them clearly inside their heads. Our daughters are gone. They did not run. They did not die. They simply vanished. We do not lie. We do not hide. But we have failed. Only your kind can walk where they were taken. Maria asked, Where were they taken? The Alarans paused. Then one of them pointed to the sky. Not up, not down, but through. If you do not help, they will come for yours next. The room became cold, the lights dimmed, the air grew heavy, the humans realized something. This was not just a rescue mission, this was a warning, asterisk. The silver gates of the Alaran city opened without a sound. The human team walked slowly, their boots making soft echoes on the smooth, glass-like floor. The city looked like a dream. Towers floated in the air. Trees grew upside down, their roots glowing with blue light. Thin bridges connected one floating island to another, hanging over waterfalls that fell into the sky and vanished. But something felt empty. Too quiet. Too still. No children's laughter. No footsteps. Just the sound of wind brushing past silent buildings. Dr. Ilya Moore looked around, worried. Where are all the people? A voice answered without sound. They are hiding. Our sorrow is too great. It was the Alarans again. Speaking inside the humans' minds. Tall, elegant figures appeared in front of the team. Their silver skin shone under the strange twin suns above. Their eyes had no pupils, just glowing white light. One of them stepped forward. This one seemed older. His long robe shimmered like water. I am Sirith. I speak for the elders. Captain. Ross nodded. We came to help, but we need answers. Sirith slowly raised his hand. The walls around them changed. They became clear like windows. Behind the walls, hundreds of Alarans stood silently. Some held hands. Others looked down at the ground. None of them smiled. Then the vision changed. A little girl appeared. She had pale skin, long silver hair, and wide, curious eyes. She was playing with glowing cubes. Laughing, then, without warning, she froze. She looked up, her eyes filled with fear. She opened her mouth to scream, but vanished before a sound came. Gone. No. Flash. No light. No trace. Only the cubes fell to the ground. The walls turned back to normal. Sirith spoke again. That was Alira. She was the sixth to vanish. All girls, all under 12. All without warning. We searched every place. We found nothing. Dr. Maria Lane asked, And this has only happened to your daughters? Not boys? Sirith nodded. Only the daughters. The team stood in silence, trying to understand. Dr. Kim stepped forward. Your message said only humans can help. Why? Sirith looked at the team as if choosing his words carefully. Because we cannot go where they are taken. We Alarans are blocked. We cannot see. We cannot hear. But humans are different. You still carry something inside? A spark, a memory of fear and courage mixed. It opens doors we cannot. Pass, Captain Ross frowned. That makes no sense. Sirith's voice grew softer. Long ago, we Alarans sealed a part of our world. A place of deep thought and energy, a place we now regret. We thought it was gone forever, but we were wrong. He turned and pointed to a dark tower far away. Unlike the glowing, soft shapes of the city, this tower was sharp, black, and cold. It began there, near the old zone. We now call it the Whispering Edge. The team looked at each other. Ross asked, Can we go there? Sirith hesitated. We do not go near it, not anymore. But if you wish, we will take you to the last place a girl vanished. They agreed. A clear pod flew them across the city. No sound. No engine, just soft wind around them. Below, they saw the full size of Alaran land, green mountains, shining rivers, floating islands drifting like clouds. But soon the green faded. The light dimmed. The pod stopped at a quiet home, built near the dark border of the Whispering Edge. Inside, the air was colder. The home was clean, peaceful but untouched, as if frozen in time. This is where Alira lived, Sirith said. This is where she disappeared? Dr. Ilya walked to the child's bed. Small toys still lay there. One was shaped like a cat butt made of crystal. Another toy was a spinning light that never stopped. Then she saw something strange, a small circle on the floor, almost invisible. It shimmered, then vanished when she blinked. She called Maria over. Maria scanned it with her device. It's not a portal, she whispered, but it's some kind of door. Maybe Unfinished. Suddenly, a soft hum filled the room. The crystal cat began to glow. Then it spoke, a child's voice. They are coming. Everyone froze. Captain Ross raised his weapon. Dr. Moore whispered, No, wait. The voice spoke again. Don't let them take me, please. Then silence. The toy dropped to the floor, its glow fading. Maria looked at Sirith. You said you can't hear them? Sirith shook his head. We heard nothing. Maria whispered, Then the connection is real. They're trying to talk to us. Captain Ross nodded. We need to go to that black tower. That's where the truth is. Sirith said nothing, but his eyes dimmed. Then be careful. The whispering edge does not like to be disturbed. The team stepped out of the house. The sky was darker now. The black tower in the distance seemed to pulse, like it was alive. The wind carried a strange sound, not loud, just a whisper, calling. The sky above the whispering edge was always dark even when both suns were shining. As the human team moved closer to the black tower, everything around them began to change. The trees near the zone no longer glowed. Their leaves were gray. The ground felt soft, like it was breathing. Strange shapes moved under the soil, but nothing ever came out. The air was heavy. It smelled like metal and dust. Captain Ross held his scanner tight. We're getting energy spikes, but no life signs. Dr. Maria Lane looked at her readings. This place isn't dead. It's sleeping. Sirith, the Alaran elder, stopped at the edge of a wide, black field. Beyond it, the tower stood tall, like a knife stuck in the sky. We will go no further, Sirith said. Our minds cannot stay clear here. The place beyond this point, it remembers pain. Dr. Elia Moore asked, Pain from what? Sirith hesitated. From before we chose peace. Then he turned and left. The human team was alone now. They crossed the black field slowly. Every step felt strange, like walking through water. The air buzzed. Their heads ached. They reached the base of the tower. It had no door. No windows. Just a smooth, black surface that reflected nothing. Maria stepped forward and touched the wall. It was warm. Suddenly, a thin line appeared, bright and white. The line grew into a doorway. Dr. Kim whispered, It opened for you. Maria looked back. Maybe it's because we're human. The team entered. Inside, the tower was much larger than it looked. A tall, hollow space stretched up and down forever. Glowing platforms floated in midair, slowly spinning. Whispers filled the air. Not voices, thoughts, memories. Some were full of fear. Others full of sorrow. Captain Ross held his weapon tightly. We're not alone. Then they heard a soft laugh. A child's laugh. It echoed through the tower like wind through an empty cave. Dr. Moore called out, Alira, is that you? No answer, just silence. Then footsteps. Small ones. A shadow moved on the wall. They followed it to a lower level. The air there was colder. The walls were covered in old marking symbols that moved like they were alive. Dr. Kim studied them. This is Alaran script, but ancient, maybe thousands of years old. He placed his hand on one of the symbols. Suddenly, the wall lit up. A bright image appeared. It showed a young Alaran girl, floating in the air, surrounded by light. Then something dark grabbed her. Not a creature, a shadow, no eyes. No face, just shape. The light broke. The girl vanished. The image faded. Dr. Moore gasped. It's not just disappearance, it's a taking. Maria whispered, Something is stealing them. Ross stepped forward. We need to find where it's hiding. Then they found the door. It was hidden behind a wall of vines made of light. Maria touched it. The vines melted away. A long staircase led downward. The team followed it in silence. As they went deeper, the air felt colder. Dr. Moore suddenly stopped. Do you hear that? They all listened. A voice, very soft. Please, help us. Then another. He watches. He waits. The voices came from the walls. Ross aimed his weapon. Keep moving. At the bottom, they found a room. It was round, dark, and full of floating objects, toys, crystals, clothes, all spinning slowly in the air, as if lost in time. Dr. Moore picked up a small shoe. It belonged to a child. Suddenly the lights in the Room turned red, a loud sound filled the air, not a scream, not a growl, a voice deep, broken, not human. Not Ilaran. You do not belong here. Captain Ross shouted, "Who are you?" No answer, just a shape appearing in the center of the room, a tall figure made of shadow. Its form kept changing arms, legs, wings, horns. It never stayed the same, but its eyes were always there, two burning white lights. You bring noise, you bring light. You are not welcome. Dr. Maria stood firm. We're looking for the missing girls. They are mine now. The lights flashed. The air shook. They feed me. They remember. They dream. I grow. Dr. Moore stepped forward. They're just children. That is why they are pure. Captain Ross raised his weapon. Let them go. The figure laughed, a sound like metal tearing. You cannot break what is not whole. Then the floor split open, a portal swirling blue and red. Like fire and water mixed. One of the toys was pulled in and vanished. Maria scanned it. This is where the girls were taken. Ross nodded. Then that's where we're going. The shadow laughed again. Enter if you wish, but do not expect to leave whole. The figure vanished. The portal remained open. The team stood at the edge. Looking in, behind them, the black tower shook. Time was running out. Maria looked at the others. We go in, now. They jumped. And the portal swallowed them whole. Asterisk the moment. The team jumped into the portal. Everything changed. There was no sky. No ground. No up or down, only color. Swirling, shifting, breathing, red, blue, black, white. The team floated like feathers inside a storm made of memories. Captain Ross reached for his scanner, but it didn't work here. Nothing electronic did. His voice sounded far away, even to himself. Dr. Maria Lane held her breath. Where are we? No one could answer. Then gravity returned. Hard. The team dropped onto solid ground. Dusty, cold and silent, they stood in a strange place. Not the Ilaran world. Not Earth. Something in between. The air was still. The sky above was dark, but full of moving lights, like lost stars trying to remember where they belonged. Dr. Ilya Moore whispered, This place feels sad. They started walking. The land stretched forever, black stone and silver mist. Then they saw them. Shadows, dozens, small figures standing in the distance. Children. The missing Ilaran girls. The team rushed toward them, but the girls didn't move. They stood frozen. Their eyes open but empty. Maria waved her hand in front of one. No response. It was like they were stuck in a dream. Dr. Moore stepped closer to a girl with long silver hair. She touched her hand. Suddenly, everything around them changed. Flash. They were inside a memory. Not their own. The world looked like Ilaran long ago, bright and full of joy. Played, sang. Then something shifted. A great machine stood in the center of the city, black and tall, shaped like a tree made of metal. It pulsed with light. Ilarans stood around it, watching, smiling. We give our thoughts. We give our fear. We give our pain. That voice, it was Sirith's, but younger. The machine fed on their emotions. It grew stronger. Then it changed. It began to think for itself. To dream. To want. The Ilarans tried to shut it down, but it was too late. It became something else. Something alive. The machine turned into the entity. And the first thing it wanted was innocence. Flash. The team was back in the dark dimension. Dr. Moore looked at the girls again. They're not dead. They're trapped inside that thing's dream. Maria whispered, That's why it needs children. Their minds are soft, easy to bend. Captain Ross clenched his fists. We have to break the dream. Then a voice spoke louder than before. You are not welcome here. The entity appeared again, taller now, more stable. A shadow wearing the shape of a man, but wrong. Its face kept changing. Sometimes a smile, sometimes a scream. You walk in my world. You touch what is mine. Dr. Kim stepped forward. You were made by the Ilarans. You were their creation. They made me blind. They made me hunger. Now I feed. Maria raised her voice. Then stop feeding on children. Let them go. The entity laughed. You asked for mercy? What mercy did they show me? Suddenly the ground cracked. The sky turned red, the children began to cry, but no sound came out. Just silent tears. The dream was breaking, Ross shouted. Whatever this place is, it's falling apart? A pulse of energy hit them. The team fell. Time twisted. Ross saw himself as a child. Maria saw her mother. Long gone. Ilya saw fire. Dr. Kim saw a grave. The entity was attacking their memories, turning them into fear. Dr. Moore screamed. Don't believe it. It's not real. The ground returned. Their minds cleared, but the entity was angry now. You cannot win. Your fear feeds me. Ross stood up. Maybe, but we also carry something else. He pulled a light from his belt, a small beacon built from Alaran crystal. He crushed it in his hand. The light exploded, not loud but pure. White, silent. The entity screamed. Its shape broke apart. The children blinked. One of them whispered, I see you. Dr. Moore ran forward. Talk to them. Call their names, the team shouted. Alira, Senya, Luma. One by one, the girls opened their eyes. The entity shrieked again. No, it rose, huge and monstrous, but the girls stood together now. Their light pushed back the shadow. Maria shouted, We found the truth. We're not afraid of you. The world cracked. The dream shattered. The portal appeared again, glowing, ready to pull them home. Captain Ross yelled, Grab the girls. Go. One by one, the team pulled the children through. The entity lunged, but it was too late. They escaped. Back to Alaran. They landed. Hard but safely. Alaran healers rushed to take the girls. Cirith stood nearby, tears in his glowing eyes. You found them. You brought them back? Maria nodded, weak but proud. We found the truth beneath your silence. Cirith bowed deeply. We owe you everything, but Maria wasn't smiling because she knew the dream wasn't over yet. 3 days had passed since the children were rescued, but the humans didn't feel like they had won. Something was wrong. The girls, now safe in the healing chambers, rarely spoke. When they did, their words were strange, like they were talking to someone no one else could see. They whispered about shadows, about him, about a place they called the Rift. Dr. Elia Moore stayed close to the children. She listened, wrote notes, asked questions, but none of it made sense. One girl, Senya, stared at the wall and said softly, He's still hungry. He's still there. He watches from the rift. Captain Ross paced outside the chamber. What if bringing them back wasn't the end? What if it was just opening a door? Dr. Maria Lane had the same thought. The entity hadn't been destroyed. It had only been pushed back into the rift, a place the Alarans refused to speak about. Until now. Cirith, the Alaran elder, led the humans deep beneath the city. There, hidden under crystal floors and soft lights, was a chamber made of dark stone. It pulsed with low energy. The walls were old, much older than the city above. In the center stood a tall, narrow gate, its frame made of bone-like metal, humming with power. This, Cirith said, is the Rift Gate, the first and last one we ever made? Dr. Kim asked. Why hide it? Cirith closed his glowing eyes. Because we didn't want to remember. We thought forgetting would protect us. Captain Ross stepped closer to the gate, but forgetting didn't stop it. Now it wants more. Cirith nodded. The Rift is a realm between thoughts. A place not built for bodies, but for ideas. When the entity grew, it made the Rift its nest. It still sleeps there, but it stirs, it waits. Maria took a deep breath. Then we go in again. We finish what we started. Ross looked at his team. No one said no. They had saved the girls, but they hadn't stopped the cause. The rift had to be sealed, or it would never stop before they entered. Cirith gave each of them a small object. A thin crystal ring. These are thought anchors, he said. They will hold your minds in place, but only for a short time. If you lose yourself, the rift will keep you. The gate opened with a soft sound like a whisper in water. One by one, the team stepped through. Inside the rift, there was no gravity. No rules. The world bent around them, shifting colors, floating shapes, broken sounds. They saw pieces of themselves. Ross saw his old war memories, battles, pain, lost. Maria saw her childhood room. Ilya saw her own daughter, years ago, laughing. The Rings on their fingers glowed. Keeping their thoughts from fading, they floated toward a dark shape in the center of the rift, a nest made of light, bones, and broken dreams. The entity was asleep inside it, huge, still changing shape, still feeding, doctor. Moore whispered, that's its true form. It didn't have a face, just a mass of memories, some stolen, some created. Captain Ross whispered. What now? Maria pointed. There, the core. In the center of the nest, a pulsing object floated, bright, red, alive. It's a memory. Engine, Maria said. It stores what it eats. If we destroy it, it loses everything, Ross nodded. Let's do it. They moved closer, but the entity stirred. Its giant eyes opened, white and empty. You again. The voice echoed across the rift like thunder underwater. You take what is mine? You break my silence. Dr. Kim shouted, this world doesn't belong to you. The entity rose from its nest. It grew taller, wider, its shadow spreading like fire. I am the rift. I was born from pain, fed by fear. I will not end. Captain Ross raised a small device, a mind pulse bomb. Maybe not, he said, but you will forget. He threw the device into the memory core. Time slowed. The entity screamed. The core shook. Red light turned. Blue. Then boom. A silent blast. Light. Exploded. Everything trembled. The entity shattered like glass. Pieces flew across the rift, fading into nothing. The nest collapsed. The darkness cracked open. A portal appeared behind the team. The rift was dying. Maria yelled, Go! They swam through the collapsing air, pulling each other toward the exit. Shapes chased them, ghosts, voices, broken thoughts. One of them grabbed Dr. Kim's leg. He shouted. Ross turned back, pulled him free. The portal grew smaller. Ilya crossed, then Kim. Then Maria. Ross jumped last. Just as the rift closed behind him, they landed back in the Alaran chamber, breathing hard, covered in dust and light. The rift gate was silent now. Dead, Sirith stood in silence, then slowly said, It is done. The humans looked at each other. Tired, bruised, but alive. Maria looked at her hand. The ring had cracked. One final thought echoed in her mind, faint, fading. I remember you. She didn't know if it was a thank you or a warning. The rift was gone, but peace did not return. The Alaran sky, once blue and calm, now turned pale and cracked. The stars blinked too fast. The ground trembled at night, and the children, though awake, were not the same. They spoke slowly. They watched shadows that weren't there. They drew pictures of eyes, always two eyes, glowing white with no face. Dr. Ilya Moore sat beside Alira, one of the rescued girls. The child said nothing at first, then whispered, He followed us back. Dr. Moore's chest tightened. Who? The one who watches? The one who waits? He has no shape now, but he remembers. She looked down at her drawing. It was the same as before, the entity. Meanwhile, Dr. Maria Lane reviewed data from their trip to the rift. She froze. A signal was still coming from the crystal rings. They were inside, but that wasn't possible. The rings had shattered, yet something pulsed. A heartbeat. Captain Ross entered the lab. You found something? Maria showed him the screen. One word blinked slowly. Remember. Ross clenched his fists. It's still alive? Maria nodded. A part of it must have escaped. Something small, hidden inside one of us. Ross looked at the team list. Ilya, Kim, Maria, himself returned, but now one may not be fully human anymore. The next morning, Dr. Kim collapsed. He shook violently. His eyes turned pale. He screamed, but the voice wasn't his. You broke my core! But I found new roots. The room turned cold. Light flickered. Kim stood up, but his body moved like a puppet. This shape is weak, but the mind inside is strong. Ross pointed his weapon. Get out of him. The entity laughed. You think fire can stop a thought? I am not a creature. I am the memory of every fear your kind has ever felt. Ilya grabbed a tranquilizer. She fired. The dart hit. Kim's body fell. Still, quiet for now, the team gathered. Maria said, We didn't destroy it. We just made it angry. Ross paced. It wants to return to rebuild? But why use Kim? Ilya looked up. Because humans can cross the rift? That's what made us special. Maria nodded slowly. It's not just feeding on children anymore. It wants out. It wants a body. A way to enter our world fully. A terrible silence followed. Ross said, "Then we have only one option," Maria answered. "We must destroy the last piece." From inside his mind. They placed Dr. Kim inside a deep sleep chamber and a Laren machine that allowed mind travel. The team linked their minds to his. One at a time, the Alarans warned them, "If you enter and fail, you may not return. You may forget who you are." They entered anyway, inside Kim's mind. Nothing was normal. They found themselves inside a city made of mirrors. Each building reflected memories. Each street led to fear. Voices whispered from behind the glass. Ross walked slowly. "He's hiding in here." A sudden scream echoed down an alley. They ran toward it, and there it was, the entity, its true form, now clearer, human-shaped, wearing Kim's face but twisted, its mouth stretched too wide, its eyes still white and empty. "You brought me here. Now I grow." It raised its hand. The buildings around them cracked. Memories exploded. Ross fell to his knees. He saw his worst moment, his friend dying in battle. Maria saw her brother lost in a fire. Aaliyah saw her daughter disappear in a hospital hallway. Pain, regret, tears. The entity smiled. "I feed. I remember I'd become..." But then light, the rings on their hands glowed again, this time brighter. The Alarans had recharged them using truth energy collected from the rescued girls. Maria stood up, shaking. "This mind is not yours." Ross raised his ring. Elia followed. Together. They stepped forward. The light pushed against the shadows. The entity screamed, "You cannot erase me!" Maria said, "No, but we can choose to forget you." They touched the mirror behind the entity. It cracked. Then shattered. A wave of energy rushed out. The entity broke apart, its face turning to smoke, its voice fading. I remember." Then silence. The team woke up back in the healing room. Kim gasped. He was back. His eyes were clear. Maria leaned over him. "Are you okay?" He nodded, weakly. "He's gone." Ilya cried with relief. Ross looked at the sky. It was blue again. Really blue. No cracks. No blinking stars. The world was healing, and the entity was no more. But as they walked out together, Alira watched from her window. She picked up her crystal toy. She whispered, "But what if someone remembers him again?" She smiled sadly and drew two white eyes. The sky over Alaran was clear for the first time in weeks. No shadows. No voices. No whispers. The girls played again, laughing, running, painting the air with light from their hands. But the human team knew it was not over yet. Not fully. Something still lingered. Not the entity itself. It was gone, burned out of Dr. Kim's mind and shattered within the rift. But its memory remained, like ash after fire, somewhere deep beneath the Alaran city. The broken rift gate still hummed faintly. Too faint to open. But not silent. In the council hall, Cirith met with the human team. He looked older now, his silver skin dimmer, his voice quieter. "You have saved our daughters. You have saved us from our own mistake, but we have one final request." The room became still. Cirith continued. "We can destroy the rift gate, forever, but doing so will erase every part of it, even the memories trapped inside. This includes the last traces of the girls' time there. They will forget the pain, the fear, even their strange dreams." Dr. Moore looked shocked. "That sounds good. Why would that be a problem?" Cirith looked at her, sadly, "Because they will also forget the humans who saved them." Maria whispered, "They'll forget us?" Cirith nodded slowly. "You will become strangers to them, kindness without a name." Dr. Kim stood, weak but steady. "If that's the price for their peace, maybe it's worth it." Captain Ross was quiet. He looked out the crystal window at the girls playing, then said, "Let's talk to them." Later that evening, Maria sat with Alira under the glow of the twin moons. "Alira," she said gently, "do you remember what happened in the rift?" The girl looked up. She nodded, slowly. There were voices, a bad dream, and then you came. Maria smiled. "And if that dream faded away? If it all became a blur? Would you still feel safe?" Alira tilted her head. I don't know, but I like remembering you. Maria felt her throat tighten the next morning. The team voted 1 by 1. Ross. Maria. Kim. They chose the same dot in the deepest chamber of Ilaran. The humans stood before the rift gate one last time. Cirith held the final crystal core that could shatter the gate's link to all memory, he said. Once this is placed, the rift will fade into legend. Only those who lived it will know. And even that may vanish in time. Maria stepped forward. She looked at her friends, then at the silent gate. I'm ready. She placed the crystal. The gate pulsed once, then cracked, a slow sound, gentle. Final light poured out, soft, blue, and quiet, not like fire, more like peace. The gate collapsed into dust. The air shifted, a warmth passed over them, and just like that, the rift was gone. 2 days later, the human team prepared to leave. The children waved happily, but they no longer called them by name. Alira smiled at Maria, but didn't run into her arms this time. She just waved, like waving to a kind traveler. Passing by. Maria waved back. Captain Ross said, They don't remember. Dr. Moore nodded. Not fully, maybe just in pieces. Dr. Kim said, That's enough, it means they're healing. As their ship lifted off, they looked down one. Last time at the Ilaran world. It was green. Again. Bright. Alive. The stars above were calm. The danger was over. The memory already fading. Back on Earth. The team returned to normal life, or tried to. Ross left the military. He opened a school for children who had trouble sleeping. Maria went back to her lab, but kept one picture on her desk, a child's drawing of two white eyes, crossed out with a red line. Kim started painting again. All his art was blue and silver, and Aaliyah. She adopted a little girl, one without a name, found in a shelter, who always dreamed of floating cities. She named her Alira, and never told her why. Years passed, and in a distant part of the galaxy, where no ships fly and no stars shine bright, soft wind blew across dark stone. Where the rift once lived. Now there was only silence, but if you stood very still, you might hear something faint. Not a whisper, not a voice, just a thought. Choice. Left behind by those who chose to be forgotten to. Save those who should never have been.